Hi, everybody. Welcome to the season finale of Pinstripe Prospective here on SNY. Coming up, a conversation with Yankees top prospect Anthony Volpe and AAA manager Doug Davis. Along with Conor Foley, I'm Sweeny Murti. Conor, during this year of looking back at the Yankees farm system, we spent a lot of time talking about Jason Dominguez, and, well, he's had a pretty good year start to finish.
Yeah, he makes it through 3 levels of the minors, starting at Single A Tampa, doing really well at High A Hudson Valley, and then finishing up with the series and maybe some playoff games with Double A Somerset. And also, he's not going to be done either, Sweety. He is one of the guys who the Yankees are sending to the Arizona Fall League. So it looks like, after playing, I think it was 50-some games in his first season as a pro, because, of the COVID season, he didn't get to play. He's going to play like 100 more games this year than he did last year. And it's, maybe an aggressive move in his player development, but this is a guy who's only going to be 20 in February. And obviously it's setting up for a pretty big year for him next year.
Dominguez's path through the Yankees minor league system could look similar to that of Anthony Volpe, who has leaped across 4 levels in the last 2 years and is finishing this season at AAA. Earlier, Conor Foley had a chance to catch up with the Yankees top prospect, Anthony Volpe.
All right, Anthony. So when we had you on the show in the beginning of the year, it was kind of, during the early season slump. And then, you come on the show and then look at what happened the rest of the way. It's been an incredible year for you. How much credit do we get to take in your season?
Well, thanks. Yeah, thanks for having me on again. And I'll give you guys all the credit. It all goes to you guys.
What was the change that happened for you that everything started to go right? What do you think it was?
For me, it just felt like I was always just putting in the work before the games, after the games, getting ready for the pitch or anything like that. And it just clicked. I don't know. I didn't really change anything in my routine or anything like that. It wasn't a simple, quick, magical fix. But honestly, it gave me a lot more confidence knowing that I could go through that mentally and come through it and come out on the other side and be the player that I wanted to be to help the team out.
How much different does it feel when things start going well for you and you're able to just kind of focus on, hey, there's a game today, let's go get a couple hits?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think anyone would be lying to say it's not a lot better when you're playing well. But I mean, at the end of the day, all I was focused on through the good or the bad was just competing with confidence every day and trying to go out there and help the team whichever way I could. I mean, in baseball, you get so many opportunities, whether it be in the field or on the bases or anything, to try and impact the game, and you got to take advantage of those. So even when I wasn't hitting well or I'm not hitting well, I'm not playing defense well, I just try and flush the bad and take the good with what it is.
So you haven't been up here too long, but what have you noticed between the differences in AA and AAA?
For me, just on a daily basis, I think the clubhouses are a lot different, and there's a lot for me to learn being up here and being around guys that have had really incredible careers, and they've been awesome with just trying to take me under their wing, being this late in the season, just giving me stuff to honestly think about and work on the off season, and just learning from afar of how they approach the game, approach their preparation, and whether that be physically or with the pitcher, stuff like that.
You're climbing through the minors and, you're always looking at the step ahead of you and what's next and what's next. What's next now is the major leagues. Have you thought about that at all, about how close you really are right now to being in New York?
Yeah, I don't know if I'd necessarily put too much thought into it, just because like every other level, it's super out of your control. So when you get called up or anything like that, I mean, even in AA, obviously the goal was and is always to get to the next level, but all the coaching staff and everyone does a really, really good job of just making it developmental, and everyone here has a lot of work to do to get, everyone's goal is the same, to get to the big leagues, and everyone has to work on individual things that we all know that we have to work on to get there, and the work doesn't really stop regardless of what level you're at or anyone's at. So I guess it's just everyday work and nothing really changes.
Something I noticed, first of all, you're a very nice person. You're signing autographs for fans all the time. You're always smiling. A couple of the games, there's been a called strike 3 that hasn't been a strike maybe. And you still don't get mad. You just kind of smile at the umpire. When do you get mad? What makes you angry? If a called strike 3 that's not a strike isn't going to get you angry, what gets you angry?
No, that definitely gets me pretty angry. I have when I'm actually controlling myself, that's kind of like my my outlet or how to just kind of relax a little bit. I guess I just like nervously smile, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, baseball is such a game of failure, and I definitely experienced my fair share of it this year. And I honestly wouldn't trade it for the world. I think I learned and grew so much as a player, physically and mentally, to how to deal with the ups and downs. I feel like if I get 2 up or 2 down based on a couple of results in the game, I wouldn't be able to impact the game later on.
Lastly, we know you grew up as a Yankee fan, and it's kind of hard to ignore what Aaron Judge is doing this year. Can you imagine, approaching 60 home runs in a season?
No, I definitely, I mean, I could barely imagine approaching 30 home runs, but it's obviously historic, everything he's doing. And I think to be able to do it as consistently as he has, with the amount that he means to the team and how valuable he is to the team, I don't think they'd be where they are without him. And as a player, I think we all can appreciate just how crazy what he's been able to do is at the level in the major leagues. And then as a fan, it's awesome to watch. As a Yankee fan, I'm sure everyone's super excited for what's to come.
And now for our final episode's alternate angle, we check in with AAA manager Doug Davis. Doug, you've had the pleasure of talking to Conor all year, so let me start off. What's this year been like for you as you kind of put a bow on the AAA season this year?
Well, it's just been another tremendous season. This team's just been tremendous. I mean, the staff, players, obviously a lot of moves. Again, having the opportunity to send some guys to the big leagues, especially some first timers. We had some great call-ups this year. Here in Scranton, we're one big family, and but we also realize that the bigger part of the family's in New York, and and I think everybody's done a tremendous job of maintaining that focus.
Over these few years that you've been the manager here, you've had an opportunity to see some pretty good shortstop play between Cito Culver, Tyler Wade, Andrew Velasquez. This year, you've had 2 of the top prospects in the organization in Oswald Peraza and Anthony Volpe. Can you kind of compare and contrast those 2 guys for us?
Oh, wow. I mean, that's a tough one, Conor. I mean, they're both tremendous prospects. I mean, and talented individuals. And I guess I almost would take the 5th on that, because I think both of them are going to be terrific major league players. Peraza's had a chance to go up there a little bit this year and just sort of get a taste and a feel of that level, and we know that, he's going to get a lot more opportunities in the future. Anthony coming here, he jumped right in and took off and showed us the type of player that he is with his energy level, and he's, I guess Anthony, I would consider a little bit more of a blue collar guy, because he just works his tail off and he knows that, he really has to work on improving himself, from an infield standpoint and that shortstop. But I think he's also, as is Peraza, very versatile. Both offensive players, both guys that are going to hit home runs, and be very impactful from a run production standpoint. So, they're both extremely close in talent level, and I would personally love to see both of those guys on a major league infield at the same time.
Doug, there were 2 pitchers that made the Yankees out of spring training this year that you had last year. J.P. Sears, Ron Marinaccio. They both made their own kinds of impact. Who are some of the guys that are excelling at maybe this time of year that you can see making an impact or having some sort of say next spring?
Well, I think, again, the guys that have come up here from AA, the Mitch Spences, Sean Boyle, guys that have come up here, filled in and done very well. Another guy that I kind of compare to Greg Weissert is Michael Gomez, who to me reminds me a lot of where Greg was at this time last year. And you see the progression with him and what he brings to the table. I think this time next year, if things progress the way they should, that he would be a very similar type guy as Greg would be.
And that'll do it for this episode and this season of Pinstripe Perspective here on SNY. My thanks to co-host Conor Foley. Make sure to follow his outstanding coverage of the Yankees AAA team at the Scranton Times-Tribune. Make sure also to check out the archive here on SNY to see all the fabulous interviews we did during this past minor league season. For Conor Foley, I'm Sweeny Murti. Thanks for watching.